it while it was off, but trying to hold it and unscrew it at the same time, it needed to be bolted up to try to get up. But that's
other than that, it should be good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Hi guys.
Oh shit.
Hey there.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Sorry, we came in a little late there.
We had computer technical difficulties, but we would have figured it out earlier if we weren't working on cars.
Yeah, and we got
successfully working on a car that ended up in a successful test drive.
It was successful to the point to where it idled. Well, we had it sitting at $2,000 for 12 minutes.
Yes, with a homemade twig throttle opener
on it to get the coolant to cycle through everything and all that.
Burp the system.
Aftermarket throttle stop.
Correct.
Yeah, burp the system and that. Got back down. Put fresh gas into it. The coolant sensor might be a little fucked up because the light. Actually, I didn't even know that the light was like on the dashboard. All of a sudden, it came on. I'm like, what the
fuck is this?
Shit, that's a coolant light. And like,
you're probably gonna have to bleed the cooling system. It's a good thing you did put straight water a couple times.
Yeah.
Because it was still murky from all the other crap that got in there.
Yeah.
And like Trevor was saying about the oil cooler, I'm fairly 100% confident it was bleeding in there into the cooling system. So.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing of where, we didn't really have too much residue in the coolant system and all that. It was all pretty much
mainly in the oil.
Going into
the oil.
Well, so that's why it was one of those. It seemed like a head gasket, but you could have the lid off of the coolant tank, and you weren't getting exhaust bubbles.
Yeah.
No, and after all the air got out, same deal. Open up the coolant reservoir, and it was not bubbling; it was just still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when I saw like I was telling him, when I'm used to seeing like oil coolers on oil filter housings, it's a small. It goes right on the engine with two tiny hoses that come out.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes. That thing has got fucking like full size radiator hoses on the cooler, and it's a really big cooler on it.
Like, just bypass it. You can't just bypass it. You have to get the oil cooler delete, which is obsolete, and you have to be able to find one. And half the time, it's twice as expensive as getting a brand new oil cooler.
Well, and not having an oil cooler here during the summer would kind of be a little pushing it, If
that one ends up being too far corroded and starts going again, I can buy a brand new from Ford, the oil cooler casing with a brand new oil cooler in it. And
don't forget your discount, 10% over cost for me.
It's $300 and something bucks.
Give him the part number.
It's one of those to where. How it goes in, it's literally on the side of the block where the oil filter goes in. You have the actual hole in the side of the block for the coolant passage, and it's literally that's the bottom passage of the coolant. Like it doesn't all just come up from.
No, and that thing just seats with O-ring. It seats with O-rings, and then the actual core that holds the oil filter on is what holds the whole thing down.
So that screws into the block, and you screw that into there. But it's one of those.
I got the help. I felt special.
Well, I mean,
that thing is.
Oh yeah, and you got to position it up and then push it, get the O-ring seated.
I'm trying to get it. You just need an extra set of hands to push it because when you look at it. When it's fully off,
it's packed in there
with the adapter plate. It doesn't look like it separates.
Yeah.
If you don't know that center core comes out, it looks like one complete cast piece. That's how flush everything sits on.
But honestly, what you should do is tomorrow morning, or whenever you get up.
It'll be tomorrow afternoon.
Oh yeah, whenever you're free, just go out there and start it. Let it idle till it gets up to temperature. See if it smokes and see where the temperature pulls. I'm on the same boat as Brian, as I think you need a new thermostat.
Yeah.
And just see if it smokes, because the smoke was kind of worrying, but it cleared up. And when you were getting on it a little bit,
that was pretty much.
At first, it was like straight white steam. Then it started turning blue, which I can understand. We have sea foam in there, and then also the black was fine too.
Around here, I saw a little puff come out, and then when you pulled it back into the driveway and it's idling, there was a little bit on the driver's side tailpipe.
But you also got to think of how long that car sat.
And that's the thing, condensation can literally pool inside of mufflers.
Yeah,
so
that thing sat for
exactly, and that's what I was thinking.
In the garage, which helped it, but
Well, and the
then
fact
also
that
for a year out here with
Yeah.
everything. So
well, and the fact that the smoke went from where it was, like it looked like we were doing like a seafoam treatment in the
Yeah.
throttle when
Yeah.
he started it, to the point where it was idling without puffing
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
smoke. I think it's probably good.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it sounded healthy,
when
too.
I came around to this
And the
house
engine's
out
running
here,
just dead ass smooth.
I did
Well, at
see
first
a
it
bit of, I did see a bit of smoke come out from under, from by the tire, but I think that was just from all the oil that spilled onto everything, and then also the brake clean that I sprayed.
Well,
all
and
over
I
the
think it was
fucking
a good
place.
thing we put the seafoam in the oil too, because of how rackety clackety it was when you first started it.
Well, you also got.
Well, that was all the lifters pumping up and
Exactly.
everything too.
But
Yeah.
you gotta think, I let that son of a bitch drain for 2 days.
Right, the motor was pretty much bone dry.
Yeah, there was nothing left in there.
And when it
so-
pumped back up, it wasn't
stopped.
idling
Yeah.
on its own at first, and that's it. Dude, the way that thing was running, that was
Oh, now
beautiful
it's
at the end.
starting-
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just
started 800 RPMs, perfect.
and it's just dead
Crispy.
smooth.
And I do have brand new spark plugs to put in too. We just didn't do that today,
Yeah.
but I got brand new spark plugs to put into it.
Yeah.
And I know the other thing that I need to do is, and even Trevor said, like we talked about the harmonic balancer, it's yacked, but it's for now. Just to
It
get it
works.
running and stuff like that, it's fine, but it does need to be replaced. Which
Yeah,
I hate
it's rough.
that,
Yeah,
but-
yeah, that sucks when that thing lets go.
yeah.
And I successfully transported an automotive fluid in my car without spilling it.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Well, it's
Thank
also
you.
because you had Sabrina hold it, so.
No, I didn't. I had it shoved behind my back seat, just chilling right there. And yeah, that's how we started going. And she's like, "If it spills, is it okay?" And I'm like, "Sabrina, remember?" And I just went like that. And she looked behind her. She's like, "Oh yeah, nothing's in here." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's okay if it spills."
It's weight reduction.
Well, I forgot too. Like the other night, I was driving and I keep seeing this fucking light in like the back of my eyes, and I'm like, "Where the fuck is this coming from?" And every time I would look,
Reflection of the taillight off the inside of your glasses.
no, because I don't have the housings on the back where the taillights are, the regular like light bulb light,
Uh-huh.
anything that doesn't go in the taillight reflects back because it's open. And I'm over here, every time I looked, I let off the brake and looked behind me and I'm seeing nothing. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Slowing down to a stop, like, I fucking see it again. Yeah, it's because there's nothing there and I can see the brake light from the inside.
I happened to reverse seats down in Sabrina's car one time, like it was the same down, and it was, I can see the third brake light.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that?
It,
Yeah, because the third brake light in the S197, the bulb isn't contained.
no.
Right.
It just hangs out on its own. It's got this weird little plastic thing that catches it and blows it, and then there's a diffuser across the backside of the lens to send the light out through the lens.
Oh!
But the bulb is just hanging out and wide open. So yeah, with the seat down, you can totally see that thing light up.
I just remembered something that I didn't send to Chris, and I need to send it to Chris.
What's that?
You're going to get it in a moment, sir.
So speaking of lights, I am gonna let everybody know, all of our watchers and everybody, the 4 people out there that have HID factory OEM HID headlights on their Mustang. I'm getting ready to put a video together to show one option you have with aftermarket lights, because we have been left by all of the aftermarket companies as far as plug and play.
Yep.
And I finally got it all figured out. I have projector headlights on my car, and they are fantastic.
And they actually look really good. And I have to say, like, people don't realize that on the early S197s and that, because in 13 the projectors became standards. You could get them as a high dollar option. Not a lot, even most of the GP500s
Didn't have them.
have them. And there's actually some base models that people ended up getting HIDs and all that. They're great, but there is, because very few of them did stuff, there are very few kits for that. Everything's for the standard bulb.
Well, you got to think, even a replacement aftermarket bulb is $100.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also too, but I mean, they are projectors, and it's fairly a standard thing. You can
Right.
take, if you had a messed up projector and a screen and all that stuff from your Ford housing, you could take that out and get another Ford projector from a different car and just screw it
Slap
into
it
that
right
housing,
in.
and you'd be good. But what Chris is dealing with is an HID that's in a reflector setup.
Oh, yeah.
And the factory lights were, I think the 2 that I found that were in stock was like $1,300 for one side and $1,500 and something for the other side. But most
Right.
places were just out of stock. And I'm talking like OEM supplier, like OEM Ford
Right.
stuff was out of stock.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
If you get that video, I sent it. It should send to your phone. If you get it, I just want you to know, customer states vibration in rear.
Oh, was that the tire
Oh,
separation?
it just came through.
No, the rear axle.
Well, let me
Yeah, we need.
let me get the first beer, and then we'll get into our.
Yeah, I'd say they have a mild
Yeah,
vibration.
that's a vibration.
Just a little
the
bit.
exhaust is holding the whole rear end up.
Wow. Where did that car come from?
It's a Florida car.
They driving on the beach?
And then when they lowered it
In
back
the
from
salt
ground,
water.
the whole rear end slapped down and blew out the rear tires.
Wow. What are they driving that thing on the beach?
It's on the road in general. Chris,
No, they drove that in the salt water.
when they lowered it back down, I'll send you this picture too. When they lowered it down, the rear axle skipped because the exhaust was literally only thing holding up the rear axle, and it blew out both the rear tires. It sent a sound through the whole dealership.
Uh-huh.
I just sent you the picture of it, just done. It was a Honda Pilot, by the way.
Oh
yeah,
my
that
god.
car either came from up north originally and was driven in the salt, or they brought it down, or they drove that fucker on the beach. Never rinsed
The
it out.
lady said, "Well, don't you have a
Honda-
body shop? Can't they fix it?" We're like,
Hold on. Honda Pilot, it
Yeah.
towed a boat. I almost guarantee it. And they dipped it in the salt
"Yeah,
water.
it was a
boat.
V6 all-wheel drive with a tow hitch on it. They probably did."
Oh yeah, that thing went on the beach.
Yeah, and also the cats were cut out, and it was straight piped, and yeah, and the only rust was really on the back. So that's what I was saying. It was dipped. Somebody kept doing
Yeah.
that, and the lady had been driving like that for months
Oh my god.
with it bouncing in the back.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they
horrifying.
either drove it on the beach, or they were putting a small boat into salt water and backing the ass end up into the water.
I just have to say, factory Honda Pilot exhaust hangers can hold some shit.
Whoever made the rest of the car didn't do a great job, but those exhaust hangers, man,
They were
top-notch.
they were holding
engineering.
everything together.
So
Thank you, sir.
we will go to our first beer, and then we'll get into our. Well, we actually almost pretty
I
much got into our topic because we talked about the car that we just fixed.
see the packaging and I know the brand and I
So
know what
this
they're
is the
going
one
for.
that
I love the little thing line.
So this one I wanted to get last week, but I couldn't get the list to load to figure out if we did it or not. I still couldn't. I just bought it because it was also
No,
on
we've got-
sale for originally like $13 for the 6-pack. ABC had it on sale for $6. So I was
Oh,
like,
Nice.
fuck yeah.
oh yeah.
Dude. I have had every single one of Sierra Nevada's little thing and big thing
And
beers.
it
I
looks
love them.
Fucking amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, we have. I've not
and it's a
really-
fucking sunny one. I'm pouring.
Yeah, so this is Sierra Nevada's sunny little thing. It is a citrus wheat ale. It is only 5%. It is back in the sunny little thing. No, bask in the sunny little thing. A wheat ale made with citrus from radiant flavor that's bold yet easygoing and balanced by a soft and smooth finish.
It's got floaties.
It does.
It does.
I saw this. It sounded good.
Oh, there they are.
So I
Yep, they're in there.
Yeah,
And if anything like Sierra Nevada, it's gonna be craft as fuck. And the
Ki-
flavor is
kinda
like,
hazy.
super present.
Kind of hazy going on through
it
here.
smells like straight on orange.
Oh, smell that! It does.
Holy shit, fellas.
It smells like straight on orange juice, dude.
What do you got, Chris? You got anything special?
So I didn't get it. I didn't get anything new, but I got an old classic, one that we enjoyed when we had it before because I saw it in pint bottles and I was like, yeah. So I got the Samuel Smith's organic chocolate stout in a pint bottle.
nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, well, Chris,
Yeah, well, clink.
Cheers, boys.
Clink.
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 clink,
Clink.
clink.
Clink. Clink. Clink. Clink 'em and sink 'em.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
oh, yeah.
I got to pee, but I want to drink it.
Wow.
You can drink it.
Dude, that's amazing. I think
Yo, I
that's like the
definitely
best
don't-
wheat ale I think
Hey,
I've ever had.
currently, right now, ABC and Inverness did a complete beer reset. They have so much stuff on sale
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
much stuff on clearance. Like, it's not even funny. That Coppertail Special Lager, the Buccaneer one that we got.
Dude, that shit is
Remember that one?
amazing.
that we got
Yeah.
for just regular drinking beer. That 15-pack was normally $18. Right now, it's on clearance for $8.
You know,
Nice.
Like,
for the longest time, I've been going to the Orange Blossom Honey Ale.
oh, and I love that. This is
That annihilates.
no,
Yes, it
this is
does.
almost
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's almost like a mimosa.
It is.
Like it almost is like a mimosa.
Yeah, it is.
Like this is
Chris, you got to get your ass back down here so you can enjoy this shit with us.
Very soon.
this is perfect.
No, no.
I just
Very,
mowed
very,
the
very
lawn
soon.
And
I'm looking for a place.
Yeah. Ah. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I know a house that's for sale that works wonderfully with a lift in it. I mean, the lift's gone now, but Trevor's house is for sale, and it comes
Yeah?
with the 2 lots. Comes with the second lot behind it.
And there's
Can
a
you-
concrete
Can
pad
you
that's
get me the Can you get me the listing?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll find it and send it to you.
yeah, we already know that the lift works in that pad really well.
Yeah, but the
Well,
lift gone. He took the lift down.
The pad works very well for supporting a lift.
Yes.
Correct. So it's all set up for a lift. I just gotta put one there.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
it's
holes
out.
are still there.
I mean, it's outdoor, but it's a lift.
So what? It's out. It's a lift.
Yeah. Plenty of shade there.
Yeah.
That stuff's good.
I know.
It's amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing. And I didn't expect
I'm
anything
also
less.
the only one. I was gonna wear my Pints and Pistons shirt, but because of today's occasion, and also because of what we're going for, I decided to break out my old Cobra shirt. So you're welcome,
I almost wore the almost wore the club shirt.
dude. I
I
had
don't
all
own
my
a Mustang shirt.
Dude,
I don't
hey,
own a
you want me to go
Mustang
grab
shirt.
you one? Because I had my Foxy Lady on, then I had this. Do you want ones with Mustangs in a barn? I got a California Special shirt. I
He
got
thinks I wear children's
I got
sizes.
a
I know.
I
it's
know.
funny.
I got a Boss shirt. Yeah,
Little
I got-
boss shirt.
No, it's
You're
okay.
medium.
Thank you, though.
Isn't that what you wear?
Hell no. I'm a fat motherfucker. I wear XL.
Same.
You're big, though. You're tall.
Anyway, so we are celebrating National Mustang, basically weekend at this point, because Sunday is National Mustang Day.
Yeah,
But
the-
Easter, so
The anniversary of the debut of the Mustang.
Yeah, so the Mustang debuted April 17th, 1964 at the World's Fair in New York.
And they also
That
they
day
also
had
they
two-
also took a car apart and
Yeah.
put it up on the Empire State Building.
Yep, that day.
and have
they-
honestly brought one of the most diverse vehicles to the market in this, and longest running too. Well, you got to think about too, like especially in this day and age, everybody does everything with Mustangs.
Everybody always says, the Corvette. Corvette had 1 year that it was not. There was no
Yeah, the-
83 model
No, and the
year.
Mustang keeps going, and the Mustang keeps showing
But-
up
but
everywhere.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
the
But
thing.
you just got to think about this. Everybody's always like, no, the Corvette is the longest running American
Oh,
line up.
the Mustang.
And they're like,
though.
Nope.
There was the 83. Yes, they had the C4 designed in 83, but they did not do a production
Correct.
of it.
Yeah.
It went from 82 of the C3
to 84.
to 84.
Mhm.
That's technically
They missed a year.
they missed
did.
a year.
I think no,
We
technically
have
they missed a year.
Well, no, the one that bugged me though was when Chevy tried to play off the whole 50th anniversary of the Camaro bullshit. I was like, no.
No.
Y'all took a 6.5 year break there, buddy.
And they just do that, and everybody's like,
They
but
heard the Terminator was coming out, so like, fuck, we're done.
I mean, that's like saying like a company releasing a model, say 30 years ago, for that 1 year, and then 30 years later doing another one being 30th anniversary edition. That's not how it works
Exactly.
at all.
No. But so, people like to talk shit about the Mustang. People talk shit about a lot of cars. And it's one of those, unless you've driven one, and I understand where a lot of the hate comes from. They are a cheaper car that...
Not
that-
anymore.
Well,
Not anymore.
Well, the
But-
hate,
but
it's the thing. The hate doesn't come from the car, though, Mike. It comes from the people. Yeah.
Because when you go to Cars and Coffee and you're leaving Cars and Coffee, you got the one person that has never had any type of horsepower. You are able to, well, you were now with used car prices and that, but you were able to buy a almost 100,000 mile 11 or 12 5.0 base model with a stick that had 412 horsepower for like 11 grand.
Well, but that's another thing that I think I have to blame today's day and age on is, I can't say 15 years ago, if there was a Cars and Coffee event, there wasn't a Mustang leaving sideways hitting a crowd. Now every time people leave a meet, there's people there with cameras, and people are like, "Oh, I want to be cool and shit," and It's kind of more like a media thing, really,
Well,
to blame, to be
You know, I mean,
honest.
your thing about, the hate's not coming from the cars, hate coming from some of the people that drive them. BMWs
Yeah.
and G35s.
Nissan Altimas.
G35s.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, now wait a minute now.
Definitely.
Okay, now you mentioned Nissan Altima.
Your parents and you are the exception, okay?
Okay, now
All right?
you mentioned Nissan Altima. I will say there is something about that car because two things happen when I get in an Altima. I become like petty as
Say
fuck.
invincible.
I become okay. No. I become
I am
petty
God.
as fuck. One, I become petty as fuck, and two, I road rage. I road rage so hard when I'm in that car.
And Brian goes, whoa.
Pretty much. That's all it is. It's weird though. If you put the thing in drive sport mode,
It acts like it shifts. My dad's Nissan Rogue does that.
But it shifts like a Fast and Furious
It
transmission.
does-
It shifts like 30 times.
It does. You'll floor it and it'll go boom, 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 and
It'll
like
do
you
it like
start,
30 times until you let off.
you start to count. You're like, wait, that was like 8 times, and I'm doing 6. Why'd you do all that? Like,
It's funny. But
Dude, you should
seriously,
see him around here. You can always be guaranteed. You'll be driving in traffic, all bumper to bumper, doing like 40 miles an hour, and a Nissan Altima
it comes like this.
will come just sliding through there, just
With
weaving back and forth
bald
through
spare
traffic.
tire on the front of it.
or the rear.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's this white one every
one
morning.
corner of a bumper missing. It's got one headlight busted out. It's got rust on the roof.
Yes.
Faded paint on the hood.
Yep.
There's one spare tire. The other 3 are bald, and this bitch is doing 80 through the fucking
And it's got the
traffic.
bubbly ass dark window tint too.
Yes.
Yes, that purple, like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
purple.
I was
like,
in the Altima
off
yesterday
color.
and had some jackass in a diesel truck come from the right lane right into the left lane, caused me to go into the median.
See, but you see what
No,
you
no,
didn't
no.
know is you were the jackass actually, because
No,
you
no,
were in the Ultima.
Yeah, but anyway, so here's the thing. I waited until 3 stoplights, a turn, and 2 more stoplights just to pass the guy and park my ass right the fuck in front of him. Just because when I'm in the Ultima, I get petty as fuck. I don't know what it is about that car. I road rage so bad in that car. I don't do it in the Mustang. I don't do it in the truck.
Like I said, every morning when I leave work, about a minute to 2 minutes after I pull out of my street onto 44, the white Ultima comes banging, and it's got a black hood that's like peeled, and the roof is also faded and shit, and it just comes peeling by me every day, just skating.
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. I'm just like, man, it's like, if you're in a hurry every day, just leave earlier. But you're not, because you're in an Ultima, so you're just a big Ultima energy
It
doing
is.
that.
There's Ultima energy. Those cars. Every other car you get hate because of the people that drive them, but the Ultima, there is something about those cars.
Oh, hey, we got
Hey, I was gonna say, I'm sorry, guys. I just now pulled up. I forgot it's not on the OBS. Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry. Hello from Tennessee. Evening,
Tennessee,
gents.
awesome.
Yo, and evening all the way from Homosassa. What's up, everybody?
Cheers.
Old School's Garage, Robert H. We got Couch Ham and Heyman's TV. What's up, everybody?
So for everybody that's just joining us, our first beer is Sierra Nevada's Sunny Little Thing Citrus Sweet Ale. And it's
It seriously tastes
fucking
like
fantastic.
a mimosa. It
Fucking
seriously
fantastic.
tastes like a mimosa,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's so nice.
Well, and I know, is Sierra Nevada, they're not Florida-based, right? They're
No, they're...
California. Yeah, California.
yeah,
Like, this encapsulates a Florida beer very well.
it does.
It does.
It does. And I don't think
this
they
is-
aimed for that, but it
This
does.
is seriously a perfect from now until November.
Pretty
Florida
much.
beer.
All right, in question.
All the way through
Does-
Halloween. Definitely through Halloween.
Does Old School's Garage follow us? Do we know them?
I think so. I think we've talked with them before.
Because he said
I
all
am,
all the
like-
way from Homosassa, but
I
that's
am
not far.
blanking-
It's not
Like,
far.
it's...
I am blanking on.
I'm sorry,
We've had the conversation before, but we've
Well,
been blocked. So.
and even though, like, we're not big, not for nothing, we've talked to hundreds of people,
Oh, yeah.
like, over the...
Well,
Like,
our friend
maybe
Ken
even
lives
more
up
than
in,
that.
Canada.
Yeah.
All that. It's just- I
We've
still
had
follow
peop-
all this stuff.
You
It's
do,
just-
you do? Okay, all right. I was just making sure. Hi. Hope you're having a good night.
So back to the wonderful Mustangs. Okay, so well, everybody knows me and Brian are just with just cars in general, but we are
We've had a few Mustangs.
We are a walking encyclopedia.
No, all 3 of you are Mustang people, and I'm the odd one out.
Well, Chris has only had the one Mustang.
Yeah, but he still
Right.
he owns it and drives
Yeah.
it though.
My-
I've never owned a Mustang.
My focus is literally, out of all my cars I've had, my focus is the only car that is not a Mustang.
Well, and I guess you could say, like, I guess I'm close because if you take my motor and turn it that
Yeah,
way and put
yeah,
it in a
but-
Mustang, that's what the new EcoBoost Mustangs are. So
Pretty close, yeah.
yeah,
You're basically driving a Mustang EcoBoost.
yeah, except I make better noises.
So yeah, so my Mustang history is I had a 74 Mustang 2 Fastback. I had my
Which I
89.
can't wait to talk about the Mustang too, because I know
They
you have your things. They get their hate, but I okay.
I understand the cars. Anyway, so I had the 74 Mustang 2. I had an 89 Fox Body convertible. I had two of the phony ponies because I had a parts car, as one does. Had the 98 GT, and now I've got the S197. So, but how many Mustangs have I driven?
No, I was gonna say, see, I've driven a
Do
ton
you
of
wanna-
Mustangs.
Do you want to go through my
Well,
list?
I was gonna say though, like for the Mustang 2 though, like I love the Mustang 2.
Let's get to that, because yes.
And in my opinion, my friend Jason Bowman from Canada, that SR21 he has,
See,
that's just
So with mine, my very first car was an '86 Fox Body Coupe, which I still kick myself in the fucking ass for selling because the prices of them are.
it was a 4-cylinder.
Yes.
It was blue.
And
And
had
Mike was still-
300 and something thousand miles on it and ran like a fucking top.
And Mike was the same height then he is now
Well,
when he
yeah.
owned it.
I know.
Sorry.
But
Well,
Well, he's been the same height since he was 7. So
But no.
It's not as much, no facial hair though.
I had that. Then I got the Cobra.
Pretty much Mike in almost any car basically looks like a baseball behind the wheel going down the road.
Well, he always had long hair though.
No,
So
I didn't.
well,
No, you didn't.
no, you didn't start the long hair until like right after high school.
Yeah,
You wore a hat
no,
though.
because my mom wouldn't let me have long hair. Anyway, so I had the '86 Coupe. Then I bought the '96 Cobra. Then I bought.
Fantastic.
Then I bought Foxy Lady, the '86 GT hatch. Then I bought the Iron Horse, the '03 Dark Shadow Gray GT. Then we've
My
had.
B, my B6 beat.
Then we had
Well,
Elvira,
they
which
weren't
was
that
the
great.
05 convertible. Then we had Athena, the 13 Performance Pack V6. Then we have Stitch, the 2012 GT California Special. Then we got Project Topless, the 86 GT convertible. Then we had the parts car, which was 86 LX V6. Yeah. I had a lot of fucking Mustangs.
Old School Garage said he had an 88 LX50 and he had an 84 4-cylinder 4-speed as well. That's awesome.
So, but the thing was with Old Blue, my very first car, we bought that thing when I was 14 years old. We bought it out of Homosassa off the Homosassa Trail. We paid $800 for it. It had 235,000 miles on it. It was the best color that you could ever get, in my opinion, that you could ever get on a Fox Body.
I agree.
Like
I love that blue.
Right, like Regatta Blue, the best fucking
I love
color.
that blue.
With the regular Regatta Blue interior in it. But it was the regular NA Lima 2.3 with a single barrel Weber carburetor on it. And that thing was it slow as fuck? Oh my god, yes it was.
But fond memories though.
But that thing, you could not kill it. I think I had it 4.5 years. The only things that I ever did to it was, tires. That was it. On the 14-inch wheels. Then I ended up one night at Wendy's. A guy came up to me and was like, "Hey, I changed wheels. I got 10 holes that were sitting in my garage for the last 10 years. You want them?" Yeah. Literally drove back to his house, came back up, and gave me a full set of 10 holes. At that point, this was 2007, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, "Oh my god, 10 holes, this is fucking amazing." Everybody was just throwing them away. He fucking gave them to me, so I was able to put 10 holes onto it.
Now go out and find a set of nice ones.
Yeah.
Oh, and they were nice.
Yeah.
They were better than the ones that both of my 86s have.
Yeah, like I said, go out and try to find a set of nice ones now.
And
Yeah.
because everybody in the late 2000s, everybody was melting them down because aluminum prices went, they were mostly cast aluminum. The prices on that fucking went more than what you could sell them.
Yeah, metal
Right.
prices went nuts.
And so I got those, but besides that, we did the timing chain on it.
Belt.
Yeah, timing belt. That was $40 in an afternoon. Brakes. That was it. That was $40 in an afternoon for all four, and
like
disconnected the choke because the choke ended up sticking open. It was an electric choke. But besides that, literally, that's all I did. It overheated in Ocala on the way to Silver Springs one time because the main relay popped out. Pulled over on the side of the road, popped it back in, waited 15 minutes, filled it up with a bottle of water, and it was fucking fine. Iron block, iron head, you couldn't fucking kill that thing.
And if you were to take like our, what do you call it? I guess our affection for cars we have now. Motherfucker towing that trailer with a vengeance. Anyway, like if you were to take like the cars we appreciate and love now and put me and Mike back in high school, coolest car in the parking lot for sure was that Mustang.
It's one of those, that car. That is the one car, like me and Sabrina have a thing to where like I have to. Well, it's not that I gotta get permission to buy a car just because we have to fucking shit ton of them. But it's one of those. No matter how many cars we got or anything like that, if that car, if I find it for sale, and it's at least in a somewhat not crashed or rusted out state, that is a car that I don't have. But it's found it.
Yeah.
Let's go get it.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly,
get it.
exactly.
Let's get it. And I always wanted to do a 5.0 spot to it and everything like that. Now thinking about it, no, I'll keep that bitch a fucking a 2.3 with a
turbo.
with a C4
I was gonna say with a
3-speed
turbo, yeah.
automatic transmission, and I don't fucking care. I have the like I love Fox Lake, but that car I have such amazing memories with it, and it's not only because of my first car. That's just I've fully learned how to work on cars, my own car.
What was that?
I don't know.
It was not a Mustang.
Yeah, it wasn't a Mustang.
I think I know what it was though.
Enlighten us.
Buick Rainer, when they came with the LS as the Trailblazer SS did.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think that's what that was because I saw Buick-ish shaped headlights.
Maybe.
I'm thinking that's my
Maybe.
Yeah, so,
Anyway.
but when the Mustang first came out, 1964, the first week I think it was they sold the first day 20,000 cars, and just from the World's Fair, they had all those people that went and ordered or bought them there. The very first one sold was actually a 260 car, and the original owner still owns it now.
Yeah, she wasn't supposed. She got it before they were officially supposed to go on sale.
She actually got it, I think, like April 15th or like today or. Like,
Could you imagine how much that car's worth now?
I know.
And she,
All of
Ford
the
has
money.
Ford
Exactly.
has tried to buy it back from her a couple times, but it's one of those. I think it's in her will now and all that. And her kids agreed that like once like she passes away and all that, that they're gonna give it to Ford because it's gonna go into the Ford Museum up there in Dearborn and that. But that is actually the very first. It's not the first serial number, but it's the very first Mustang sold.
Law enforcement types don't take kindly to the blue lights on the front.
No, they don't. They really don't.
But yeah, that car was initially supposed to
That
be,
guy's playing a game of fuck around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a secretary's car and all that because you had the Falcon, but they wanted to do stuff for the younger people. You had it to where like the Falcon was affordable, but there wasn't anything really fun about it. They wanted something that was short deck, short back, long hood.
Oh,
Fun
and
car.
now you got me going on modern stuff.
But that's
It's
what
sparked, right?
that's what they ended up doing. And that first year, I think they sold almost like it was like 100,000 was like their goal. I think it was about a million that they sold.
They sold
the very
a shit
first
ton of
year.
them.
Can we slightly sidetrack?
Sure.
Yeah.
Something has caused some synapses in
It
the
has.
brain
This
to
is why
start
I want to go
firing.
back to Mustangs because this episode has to be about Mustangs.
Oh, for sure. Did you see that there is a possibility of a Maverick ST in the works?
You can already pretty much just have it now.
Yeah, for real.
No, but like a full out, like
That would be wonderful. Like seriously, because I just saw Steeda. There's currently I think it's FRPB or something like that does awesome stuff. They put out a catback kit for the Maverick and Steeda just did a thing on it, and it sounds just like our Cockers. Wonderful.
Yes.
Like like people are like sleeping on this thing. Like that 2 liter is exactly what's in that ST, and you know how much fun the ST is, and like, dude, like. I can have a bed and I
Yeah,
can, like,
and
do
do
the
and make the same noises
Yeah.
and have the same speed.
Yeah.
The weight's around the same.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We might have lost our hot hatch, but yo, I just picked up a little mini truck.
Fuck yeah. Exactly.
Well, I mean, the fact you
Anyway.
can already get it, turbocharged all-wheel drive.
With
Come on.
manual.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. It's already pretty much there.
yeah, you're very close to
So
it.
yeah,
So-
you pulling out the first year numbers.
Looking for it. If it's,
It's
Well,
I think it's
400,000.
And I have a question for you Mustang freaks afterwards. All three of you, and I'll chime in mine too.
okay.
We're gonna start with Chris.
All right.
Chris, what's your favorite Mustang? Like, not like particular to the super down detail, but like era or what have you. Body style, just your favorite Mustang that you like see one and you're like, oh damn, like the one, that sticks out to you. Floating bearded man is my nightmare.
Yes, I'm somebody's nightmare. I'm happy about that. Man, it's tough because I love the classics. I love the first generation, the first 0.5 generation, all the way up to 71, I believe, is when they changed the body style for 72. The fastbacks in those are just iconic. Everybody knows that car, and they're gorgeous, especially when they're done up right. They got the right wheels on them.
I'll agree with that.
There is nothing better than a Fox body with just perfect wheel fitment, the right suspension setup,
Yeah. So
sitting on some nice
says here
paint,
the old
with a
Mach.
little bit of a wheel arch to it. There's nothing better than that.
So it
the
says
old
the
Mach
old Mach
1.
1. Which one? Because there's actually 3 generations of Mach 1.
I'm
no,
gonna
there's
guess
4.
I'm gonna
Right.
guess Brett's body style.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would pick if I was to go with
Because
that.
there was that one, then there was the
Sorry, what was Chris's? My bad. Sabrina doesn't like it, by the way.
what?
What?
And then
She's a fucking heathen.
on top of that, I mean, you have the S197, the 05 to 09 S197, which I have, which is my favorite Mustang. And
Which
when
is
that car is
Still
set
the
up
best
right, it's
rendition of the
just
classic, in my opinion.
perfect. It's modern yet classic all at the same time. So, I mean, it's hard to pick one favorite.
Little misfire action happening.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, growing up building models as a kid, the kits that were available were, first and second gen Mustangs. So those always have a spot. But really, it's Fox body. And because those were the cars that sort of, after the Malaise era, it was the Fox body that started sort of bringing performance back.
1982, Boss is back.
Into the
slogan.
Yeah,
70
fastback.
fastback.
That's
Yeah,
Brett's
that's
got.
fair.
That's
Because
Brett's.
that's aggressive and that's
Yeah, but so yeah, I mean that was the car. Plus, those were the cars that were there when we were in high school.
right.
And our friends had one, and even if you didn't have one, you usually had a friend that had one, and you got to drive them and play around with them and do stupid shit in it.
Right.
We did plenty of stupid shit in it, but I mean, Ultimate Fox body for me, it's kind of 2. It would either be an 85 SVO, and as much as I don't like black cars, I would kind of want one in black. And the other one would be a 93 Cobra in teal metallic. That's kind of my ultimate Fox.
You kind
ultimate
of dropped
Fox
the
body
mic
right
with
there.
that one though. Like, the teal metallic, fucking Cobra.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. I'll do mine last. So
Oh, my absolute favorite Mustang, period. Like, out of all of them.
it doesn't have to be super specific,
no,
but
no,
I know you'll have one. So
Specific. It's a 1979 Indy 500 pace car. And that
Oh,
is literally,
okay.
That is literally my Eleanor. Like, everybody's like, oh, I want a 67, 68, Shelby GT 500. Like, if I won all the money in the world, like, I want that Mustang or, a Box 429. I love those. But a 1979 Indy 500 pace car, especially, like, one of the 3 that were actually made for the pace cars, that were the T-top 5 liters. Every other one was
2.3 turbo.
well, they were 2.3 turbo. You had very few. I think it was about 100 of them that were actually 5 liter, but they were all either complete fixed roofs or sunroofs. There was, besides the ones that were actually there at the track for the promotion, there was no T-tops of them.
Yeah, and the Fox body line, he has to go with the sedan over the hatch. I mean,
Well,
yeah, for
everybody loves.
Um,
Well, okay. So the thing with the notch was for the longest fucking time, no one wanted a notch. Everybody wanted a convertible or a hatchback. And it was when I got my notch, the reason I got it for so cheap was because it was a notch.
Yeah.
When I sold it, I bought it for $800. 4.5 years later, I sold it for $750. $50 loss over that many years, not fucking bad.
No.
Within a year, that car, I watched my same exact car sell for $3,000.
Yep. And
Like, it's one of
It's
those
because
things
everybody
now,
realized the notchbacks were
notches
better
are
for
so
racing.
expensive.
Heyman's TV said, "What are your thoughts on TJ Hunt's RB swapped '65 Mustang?"
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift car.
Yeah, and
I'm okay with it.
And okay, yeah, perfectly
It's not
okay
an
with
LS
that.
swap.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we're 100 like
Yeah.
And if you didn't hear earlier, if you go and you can look up cruising in the old Delph or something like that, or Jason Bowman, he's on Facebook. He's got a Mustang 2 with an SR20 in it, and we've talked about. I'm friends with him.
Jason, Ricky Bobby, and Sandtrap checking in from Leadfoot City.
Hey,
We will not embarrass him with the story of Sandtrap.
and I'll have to say mine is Fox Body, but peak is Teal
Three Cobra.
Yeah, that's peak Fox Body for me.
Now,
And
I
that-
love the Fox bodies. I love the arrows. But the thing is the 4-eye. So I mean, and y'all know, I am a 4-eye.
And here's the thing about me with the Fox Body. It's really any configuration. And I just love, like, over the past, I guess, I'd say about 10 years, when people have been starting to swap all kinds of things around with Fox bodies, with wide bodies, crazy swaps and shit. I just
Most
find
of
the...
them have been on 4-eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you
And
think
the
about
4-eye is just such a beautiful
the-
Euro
the-
look
the-
combined with the American punch
the
and...
4-eye actually had more options than an 87 to 93. So when you came to interior, once it hit the aero cars, you lost a lot of the funky interior that you could get. In the very early years, you could get a houndstooth interior on a 79 to 81 with like a non-headrest like built into like the seat. You got
Mercury
all the funky shit. And it was one of those, that was the car that you had a 2.3 liter inline four. You had a 2.8 liter V6.
Cologne.
You had a 3.3 liter inline six, a 3.8 V6, and then either a 4.2 from 80 to 81, or the 5 liter, and that you had so many options. Then once you got to 87 93, all you had was a 2.3 or the 5
liter, yeah.
There was so many different packages. You had a G, a GL, a GLX, a this and that, and you had all this different shit that you could get versus hey, you just have this.
Right. And for me, old school garage... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Chris, go.
Well, I was going to talk about old school garages comment, but I was also going to say one other thing about. So I think we can settle this argument and say that the Fox body is the ultimate Mustang for one reason, for all these other reasons, but there's another thing we haven't mentioned. It is America's secret drift car.
And that's kind of what I was leaning towards a little bit.
Also with
But
the
like,
drag racers too, because
Yeah.
that was a car that had stock four-link in the back.
Triangulated for it, but that was the other thing
It's
about
the Fox
those cars
body
is,
Armiata.
those are the cars that those were the cars that started to bring performance back into the American marketplace.
Yep.
And when
And
those
Vince
cars
Chevy
were
and all that, like, oh shit, we gotta step our game.
and
back
when
up.
those cars were new, they really were cheap speed. I graduated high school, 1991. You could go to a Ford dealership, and without having to be a very shrewd negotiator, with just a slight bit of negotiating, you could drive off a loaded Mustang LX 5-liter manual for $12,000 or $13,000. Now, granted, currency devaluation and all that stuff plays a part in the price now, but I mean,
good price.
basically it was a GT in a sheep's clothing,
yeah.
and you got it for dirt cheap.
And you could option it, modern optionizing how you got like all the fucking like groups and all that. We've talked about that. Like you can't get this type of seat without getting all this shit.
Right.
Yeah,
That
you
was
could
when
just
you could
order
be like,
shit.
hey, I want this seat, this.
Right.
Don't give me that. I don't need AC. I don't need radio. I don't need that. But I want those seats. And hey, give me the really cool body.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. But that's what it was.
Yeah. On Old School's comment, He said feelings on the Mercury Capri.
Hell
I
yeah.
love the
Me
Capris.
personally, until the very end, even I every Capri, I absolutely love. Even the fucking little things of the '90s, I
Well,
still
see,
absolutely love
my,
those.
My favorite Capri is when you get to the bubble backs. Now,
Ooh.
the thing that sucks about the bubble backs is if that back glass breaks,
Good luck.
good luck finding
Yeah.
like
You're looking for a Mustang hatch.
yeah. But when you got the bubble back, you not only got like the Capri had
Diesel, bro.
the Caprice had a different taillight assembly and different rear bumper, but when you got the bubble back, it actually extended it out and it had a totally different
The
thing
quarter
from
panel-
even
quarter-
your regular
Yep.
Caprice.
Yeah, I mean, you got the bubble back Capri pretty much from the A pillar forward was stylistically different than a Mustang, and from
You
the
got
B pillar
square-
back
you got square
was
wheels,
completely
Completely different. Yeah.
and you got better, slightly upgraded interior and all. Like Capri is very slept on, and
Oh, yeah.
if you can find them that people haven't just converted them over to fucking
turned them into an aero car.
aero car, because there's so many people that fucking do that, and they'll literally take off the front fenders and all that, and you're like, why? Like, it's wider. The look, I love them. Like, come on, man. My shit.
Yeah, but yeah, to me, yeah, of the '80s though, SVO is the favorite because
Oh,
that was really bringing in crazy Euro shit.
Oh yeah. Well, cool thing too with the late Mercury Capris when they had the little convertible front wheel drive thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, a lot of people what they were doing is you could get one of those
XR7.
cheaper with the Capri XR2 with the turbo
Yeah, XR2. That's
the
what it
turbo
was.
1.6. You can get that cheaper.
That was the Mustang motor. That was the big motor.
You can get them cheaper than you could get a 323 GTX in America.
And it was the same shit.
Same fucking motor. And people would take those and put them in all kinds of stuff. And not for nothing, that motor made fantastic numbers for what it was. Had a hell of a lot of torque steer, and that tiny little car weighed nothing. If you've never driven one,
It revs like motherfucker.
it's like a front-wheel drive Mazda Speed Miata, basically.
Nice.
You can whip it around the same way, but it's front-wheel drive to the rear, and it will rip the steering wheel out of your hands, even though it only makes like 200 foot-pounds of torque to the wheels.
So 2.2
Yeah.
liter Mopar.
Yeah.
And it's a 1.6. And that motor also, the thing is too, is what you would do is you can get one of those. You get them and a Mazda MX-6 GT turbo, which would be the 2.2 turbo.
Yeah.
Take that turbo, put it on that motor. You ramp up the boost to about 20 psi, and you're making like 270 to the wheels per horsepower, and almost 300 foot-pounds of torque to the wheels. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
little fucking shit.
And it can take it.
And it can take it. It'll take it all the way up to almost like people were hitting almost 500-600 with these motors, and not
Holy
with
shit.
stock rods and pistons.
Well,
Like-
that comes back to the 2.3 Limas and all that.
Oh,
Mustang.
and another one of the most
longest
beautiful
time,
engines.
Like when they now, they're Fox Lake's almost 40 years old now. I mean, I have 4 years, and that car's gonna be 40 years old. But with those 2.3s and that, for the longest time when they were only 15, 16 years old, everybody was using them at the circle tracks for
Yep.
the mini stocks. You could go take a Volvo head.
I was gonna say, then you found those guys that were like,
no. There was a lot more involved. It wasn't just take the Volvo head, bolt it on a Lima block, call it a day.
They
There
would
was
do that for the circle tracks, and you would have those cars like in your walls, and they're like, that thing's fucking quick, because that thing went from an 88 horsepower brand new to about 160, 170 horsepower, hot cam, everything in it, and you're
Yeah,
like,
and then
holy fuck.
and then
Yeah,
in
but
that time, the
there
most
was-
beautiful Mustang was born,
But it
the Mercury XR4 Ti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
otherwise known as the Ford Sierra. Well, fun
That's
thing.
a totally
The
different topic.
I know.
okay,
it
so
is.
84 to 86 SPO
Yes.
was not the only Fox body to have 5 lugs and 4-wheel discs.
No,
There
no,
were 2 others.
the Cobras, 93 Cobras.
Not 93 Cobras 4 lug.
No, the Cobra R.
93 Cobra R is 5 lug and 4-wheel disc. What's the
Yeah, I got a motorcycle.
So what's the other Fox body that had 5 lugs and 4-wheel discs?
1980, the M81, the McLaren.
4 lug.
No, that was 5 lug. That wide body with the
ASC McLaren.
That
no,
one maybe.
well, not that. It wasn't an ASC McLaren. It was a Zack Speed motor.
Okay, yeah, that was a tuner car.
Yeah.
Let's keep it to a production car.
Mm-hmm. He's looking deep in them filing cabinets right now.
Chris, you got any idea on this one?
I have no idea.
Five-lug
And Google
all-
doesn't
all
either.
four.
Fox body, 5-lug 4-wheel discs, SVO, and Cobra R. What's the third one? I might break Mike's head with this
You
one.
might. I don't know it, so I'm not even gonna try.
Technically, but not quite what you're thinking. Lincoln Mark 7.
Oh,
I didn't say Mustang. I just
You
said
just said
Fox
Fox body.
the
Mustang,
reason-
you
and-
could think
yeah,
of.
well, when we-
I know that.
And
but
when
I'm
you
just-
said Arrow and I said sorta,
I know, yeah.
because the Lincoln Mark 7 was the first car sold in the U.S.
Yep.
with composite headlamps.
Yep.
That was the first year that that
87,
U.S. Department of Transportation and NHTSA said, okay, yeah, you can use these kind of lights.
no,
and-
85, right?
Or 86, something like that. But yeah, that was the first year that it was okay. You can do this.
Yeah.
Also,
the
another
first
vehicle that uses Marshall's 720 on the front.
50s.
750s.
Yeah, it had composite lamps and Marshall 750s on the
Yeah,
front.
the Eagle Spirit.
Eagle Spirit, Jeeps,
Jeeps. All that had those. too.
Mustang Capri.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see me stealing something off of a Jeep, it's because I found one that has one of those lights. Fucking LED one, because no one will fucking realize it. And I'll have a gold mine! Gold mine! Anyway, Mustang tubes, man.
A lot of undeserved hate.
Yeah.
Did you
And
know,
I say that
hold
as
on,
somebody who
hold on.
owned one.
Did you know the best-selling Mustang, the best-selling year to date, from 1964 to present, 1974, when the Mustang 2 was introduced. When that
During
year,
the gas crunch.
there
Yeah.
wasn't even a V8 option at that point. The Mach 1 option had a V6 into it. But that year, they sold the most Mustangs, even to date. That is their best selling.
And the only engines was the Lima 4-cylinder and the Cologne V6,
Cologne
Yep.
V6, yep.
which is kind of humorous because I had a 74 with the Cologne V6,
But they
and
sold,
the architecture of that Cologne V6
what his 4-liter is.
is what's sitting between the fenders of my S197 right now.
But it wasn't even like a slightly like, hey, it's just a little bit. They sold so much more than any year. And people fucking hate the Mustang too. That's the best selling fucking Mustang.
Well, here's the thing.
Best selling Mustang.
Like I said, so I've owned one. At the same time, I had the 76 Celica GT. So,
oh, yeah, the build quality was
like I
shit,
said, so
but
driving but this is why the Mustang 2 and every American car from that era gets the hate that it gets, is because they were shit boxes.
even from new, and the Japanese cars really were better.
They were so
really
much better.
were.
They were better
People
engineered,
didn't
better
wanna
designed.
realize it at that point.
They were screwed together better. The materials were better. The handling was better. Serviceability was better. I mean, like I said, I had that in the Japanese car, and they were both, similar years, with similar miles and age and condition and everything else on them. And if someone came up to me today and said, "Here's a fully restored '77 Cobra 2, like the top of the line for the car,
78 fucking King Cobra.
whatever, the top of the line car, fully restored,"
Oh, crap.
or a Survivor A30 Celica GT,
Oh, yeah.
I'll take the Celica all day long and twice on Sunday, simply because having had both of those cars, driven them and wrenched on them, Toyota's the no-brainer all
You
day
know what
long.
the biggest thing that the Mustang 2s...
Of course, now you can still find a Mustang 2, and trying to find one of those early Celicas, holy shit, it's
they're
near
rusting out
impossible.
like crazy.
Near impossible.
You know what the biggest contribution that the Mustang 2 gave to the world?
What's that?
Hot rodding. The front suspension and steering rack.
Oh yeah, it
That's
was
fair.
that
Every
that's
single fucking, like in the
that was
early
such a
90s
step
to
up
early
from
2000s before they finally started doing their own shit. It has a Mustang 2 style front suspension and steering rack.
Right.
and the reason why is because it was self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
You take that cross member, it unbolted from the unibody as
Yeah.
one unit, and you had short upper and lowers with a spindle and essentially a coilover shock.
Right.
Boom, a
All
self-contained
right there.
unit.
Everything from a 32 Ford to a 55 Chevy to everything. Fucking
Mustang
every-
2 front end. Yeah, I know it.
Old hot rods.
Oh, yeah.
You can look
And
at
even
the
if
old
you look
classifieds.
at suspension conversion kits for first generation cars, delete the shock towers because they're fusion in the way.
It literally says Mustang 2 style.
Yeah. Basically uses a Mustang 2 style front end.
So that car got all that heat, but yet so many people use
So many.
that style front end.
Well, how many people hate Chevys but use small block Chevys and everything, or LSs? And
Oh.
how many people hate Fords but use a
Fucking hate
9-inch
that.
rear end and everything? So, but yeah, I mean, the Mustang 2 and all American cars from that era got the hate that they got because they were all shitboxes.
But the Mustang 2 really. Without
Yeah,
the,
it was a
without
sa-
the
it was-
Mustang 2, the Mustang wouldn't.
Yeah, it was a sales success,
It was.
and it kept the car going. But yeah, and I say this as somebody who had one, and I had a lot of fun with mine. They're shit boxes.
Yeah.
They're absolute trash.
But then you.
Everything was back then.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why
Before I
Japanese.
get to my ultimate Mustang 2 story, you want next beer?
Oh, sudden death. Yes.
God damn it, Brian.
I got a tingle anyway.
Ah.
And the thing I think with the Mustang 2, a lot of people hate on the looks of that car. And I think especially in like King Cobra setup, that's a great looking car.
Oh yeah, they look fantastic, but they are trash.
It's not the timeless design of the Fox body or the absolutely legendary first generation Mustang, but it's still a good looking car. Especially for the times. I mean, cocaine was a hell of a drug.
Well, they weren't really getting. Yeah. I guess they were getting pretty coked up at Studio 54 back then. Disco was in swing, so the car is totally a product of its era.
What's happened? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Are you there, Chris? Oh,
Yeah,
here
it
we
was
go.
cracking up for a second.
Oh, just continuing on about the Cobra 2.
Well, see, the Cobra 2 is awesome, but
It's a product. It is a product of its time for sure.
The ultimate of ultimate has to be the fucking. Oh god, you have a lot of reading to fucking do.
Yeah, I know.
The ultimate of the ultimate is the King Cobra.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is at the same time. So that came out in '78. That was right when you had
Yes,
cocaine
sir.
and all that stuff.
This is the way I'm looking at this one. This is either going to be really, really good
Oh, it's a sour ale.
or really, really bad.
Ah.
I know, like I said, it's going to be really, really good or really,
It's
really
a
bad.
nitro sour ale. Hold on, I'm sending.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and it has a widget in it.
Yeah, I might not. I don't know how this is gonna be.
I know. Like I said, this is I'm
Hit or miss. I applaud you for taking the dive, like into it. Left hand though is like they haven't.
exactly. I saw who made it, and I'm like, all right.
These are the ones that I have inside from my brother-in-law. So I have another one of those Irish creams that we got. Then I have a left hand, a Duclaw Irish cream, and then also one that's a black cherry
widget.
chocolate stout thing.
Okay, so
If it's got a widget, then that usually means hard pour. So
what we have here is Left Hand Brewing Key Lime Pie Sour Ale with lactose, lime, vanilla, and cinnamon. Nitro.
oh yeah, yep. Look at that.
Super smooth and silky with tart lime and vanilla.
Look
Key
at it
Lime
go.
Pie Nitro is as tart and tropical as the mouthwatering dessert it's named for.
Look at it go.
This sour combines the puckering brightness of real lime juice and lime peel with creamy lactose richness. Our blend of malts is enhanced by vanilla and cinnamon, providing a layer of flavor reminiscent of graham cracker crust.
Look
Holy
at it
shit.
go!
That
It's like a
sounds
Guinness.
amazing.
Okay. I need to crack mine.
Hard pour.
Yeah, start reading from there.
This velvety, citrusy sour is then finished off with the addition of nitrogen. As you watch all the tiny nitro bubbles cascade into your glass, the pillowy head tops off your experience with a dollop of fresh whipped cream. Each sip mimics a spoonful of key lime pie, and we bet you can't just have one slice.
Oh man, the pour and the cascade is just like the nitro milk stout that they did.
Yes. It's still, dude, there's still like, it's like a cloud inside of it.
Yeah, it is absolute hard pour. It's still going. It's almost too
Mike's
pretty.
is still going too.
It's almost too pretty to drink. It pours just like the nitro milk stout did. It's
I'm not getting much of a smell off of it though. Like anything really.
neither am I really.
Well, there's only one way to find out, right?
Hold on, let it fully.
Yeah, you got a second still.
Yeah.
You have a cloud, and then Mike still has one too. It'll fully separate.
Oh yeah, so that's what I got going on with the light underneath it and the light going through it. Like I said, this is either going to be really, really good or really, really bad.
I'm actually nervous.
I am too, to be
Because
honest.
these were fucking amazing. I had two because it was so fucking good. Oh, I hate sours. Oh, by the way, Sprint hated this.
Heat it.
I know. That's what I said.
Alright.
I know. I'm at the same.
I don't know. I'm worried I'm not gonna like it, but I want to.
I want to,
Your
but
thing. Chris, Blake.
Cheers.
it's sour though.
Like,
It doesn't matter. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Sour. How that is? Oh, how do you say that's a sour?
You got the graham cracker finish.
my
It's there.
God.
Woohoo!
It's a fucking key lime pie in a
Oh
glass.
my god.
I'm a little jealous right now.
Oh my god.
Farrah Fawcett Drive One and Charlie's Angels. I think one of the Angels drove Mustang too. I don't remember which one.
It was Farrah Fawcett, and she drove a 77
Oh.
white with the blue stripes Cobra 2.
So honestly, most of the key limes that we've had have been overpowering with the key lime flavor, and that nails it.
I think the other.
Also, it's by the way, it's 7.5%.
Oh, that's dangerous.
7.3.
Big Top. We
Oh
had
my
one of the key
God.
limes we had was from Big Top.
That one was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That one was.
This might put that out.
I gotta you know what?
Yeah, there's I'm not getting sour out of this.
I don't know where they're getting. No, you know what it is?
The lactose.
It's the lactose.
Chilling everything down.
That's what makes it fucking
Lactose.
creamy.
It's
Yeah.
the lactose. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, wait a minute, it's lactose in it.
Dude, that's good. 2 stellar beers for the evening.
So
real.
it says good to go from the can, but it's like a row in a glass. Oh god damn, dude! This episode we have some amazing.
Okay, so
fucking beers.
now your pour was a little bit different than my pour, and it was a little different than your pour.
I did a 3/4 pour with a hard pour at the end.
I went full hard.
Okay, I went full hard, but I noticed when you cracked yours a little bit and let it go, and I just took mine and just
Well,
went.
I didn't notice.
no,
I didn't know.
full,
Well,
but-
I heard you say the thingy or the widget. I didn't notice that. And when I cracked it, I thought it was about to start foaming out. That's why I
No,
waited.
no,
I didn't
no,
notice it
I
had the
didn't.
ball in it.
Yeah, 'cause
Or-
you-
no, it doesn't have a ball in it.
Just
No, it's just.
No, they're just nitro
but
packed.
It's one of those you gotta full crack it if it's a
Yeah,
nitro.
It's like I
I
said-
should have
like
full cracked like
yeah,
you
because like I
did.
said, I full cracked and,
And
then
then
hard
dumped.
poured.
Yeah,
Dude,
So
it's fucking good.
that is.
it's really good.
Oh, what guys? What other Mustang stuff do you want to know? Because I can literally just like I can
just drink this the rest of the episode
Well,
and be
I,
happy.
I wanted to chime in with another thing. So Mustang 2 King Cobra, 19.
Mustang 2 King Cobra.
So
1978.
Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 drove a 1978 King Cobra. Trying to think of what other movies they've
In
had a
Guardians
King
of the
Cobra
Galaxy
in.
2, he drove one.
Never saw it. So.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
All right. Movie and TV Mustangs.
Gone in 60 Seconds. The original Gone in 60 Seconds. The original Eleanor is a 1973 Mach 1 in yellow. Well, the bronze yellow. I forgot the actual name of it. So everybody always thinks Eleanor as,
The gray 67 GT500.
That is a actual clone. It's not really a thing, but all that. But no, original Eleanor is a 73 Mach 1. And you can tell by the paint, but from 71 to 73 when they went to that that body style took longer to grow on me than the Mustang 2. And because that body style, you had a super long fucking hood.
It was basically an LTD stretched. Made into
a hatch that you could barely fucking see out of.
It wasn't a hatch. It wasn't a hatch.
No, the fucking back window.
It was a fastback, but it wasn't a hatch.
Factory louvers on, and literally at that point you can take the rearview mirror off because you can't see out. But 71 to 72 had chrome front and rear bumpers. 73 had painted bumpers. But it took a while to grow on me, but I love that body style.
TV Mustangs that I can recall, obviously, Charlie's Angels. Spencer for Hire, there were two.
Yep.
There was the black 66, and then later season there was silver titanium with a blue stripe separating it, Aero car.
The Goonies and the opening scene of the Goonies when the car chase is going by and they're riding their bikes through and all that shit. There is 4, just in one shot when they're going by Town Hall. 4 coupe 4-eyes that are all 81s.
Well, see,
in the background.
It doesn't matter because the most iconic would be the saline, not saline Mustang of Too Fast, Too Furious. Sorry.
True.
He was just taking the piss out of us for that one.
Yeah.
Clarice
you know that car though?
Starling
You've seen Too Fast, Too Furious?
Mustang.
The bad guy from Roadhouse
Yes.
drove the 87 GT convertible with a white top, white interior.
But have you seen Too Fast, Too Furious though? Have you seen that? The one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know it's not a saline Mustang, right?
No,
Yeah.
No, it was a V6 base model with the body kit on it.
But Goonies,
Yep.
the bad guy, the fucking high school dude, I forgot his name. That was an 83 GT, canyon red with a black stripe, canyon red interior, convertible. And that's what he drove. And that was a 4-speed manual.
Clarice Starling drove an 87 Mustang GT 50 in both movies.
Oh.
In the Hannibal movies. She did. She drove.
Really?
It's in the books
you're right.
as well.
You're right.
It's in the
books
books as well.
In the Hannibal
She
movies.
drives a Mustang.
I forgot about that.
In the books, they actually elaborate. She got that Mustang from a police auction. It was taken from some drug dealer.
Huh.
What other Mustangs are in?
I'm trying to remember the name of the movie, but there was one where a character drove a Mustang.
Man,
We have to say John Wick's Mustang.
Yep, John Wick
yes.
Mustang.
Brits don't watch that movie. Like, I don't like action movies. I'm like, babe, it's a movie about a Mustang and a dog.
Yeah, like you gotta go in.
And then we have to mention the most famous movie Mustang ever, the Bullet Mustang.
The Bullet, yeah.
Horrible movie.
Have you ever watched that movie? Like, seriously.
It's a terrible movie, but it's a fantastic car.
He says it's a terrible movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. Who has actually watched the entire movie?
I haven't watched the whole thing.
Horrible. You skip through the 32 minutes where you have the 18-minute long chase scene, and after that, you shut it off because it is
It's not a car movie.
Awful movie.
It's not a car movie. It's a shitty, awful detective movie with a car chase.
Unlike Blues Brothers, which Blues Brothers is literally a car movie from start to finish.
Wrong.
It is.
Wrong.
It is.
Wrong.
No.
Blues Brothers is a musical. It just happens to have cars in it.
He's right, you know.
But it's a musical. Blues Brothers is a musical.
Better than Bullet.
Anything's better than Bullet.
Exactly.
Blues Brothers is a musical.
Only reason I own Bullet is I can literally go to Chapter 3 on the DVD and watch Chapter 3 and shut it off.
I don't even have to own the DVD. You can find that shit on YouTube.
Also, by the way, the Charger loses 18 hubcaps.
They passed the same VW bug twice, and they crash into one of the cameras on the side of the street.
Fucked.
And also, it's not really the sound of the Mustang. That's the sound of the GT40 going around the Mons. No, dead serious. That's what they did.
Oh, a lot of
sound
movies
around.
do that though. That's understandable.
Which is pretty cool that they use a fucking GT40 from Le Mans. Like,
So you know what other car was in Spencer for Hire, the TV series that I just thought was cool, and I love these cars to this day?
What's that?
truck.
86 BMW 635 CSI.
Oh.
There was 2 of them.
Oh.
Yeah,
Shark
box car.
nose?
There was 2 of them.
Yeah.
The early season car was black, and the late season car was white with white
There's
meshes.
nothing classier than a black shark nose BMW.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shark noses are awesome.
But it has to have
Ooh.
the chin spoiler on it, otherwise it looks like a dude without a beard.
But
Kinda.
but that's it. Just the chin spoiler.
Yeah.
Like nothing else.
You're
Just the chin spoiler.
It's like the 2002 turbos. And that. You
Oh,
have to have that
God,
front-
yep.
If you don't have that on there, oh god, it looks fucking horrible. But you have to have that beard. You have to have that beard on it.
Ultimate Shark Nose, 1974 3.0 CSL.
Yeah, I was gonna say CSL. That's fair.
The
That is-
Batmobile.
Yeah, Batmobile.
Yes.
Another famous movie Mustang, Cannonball, featuring David Carradine. He finishes
Cannonball.
Yeah.
the race
Yeah.
The
in
black one.
the green Mustang.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it's black
yeah.
green. It's like a dark green though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was?
That
Yeah.
was the second car.
Yep.
That was the car that he picked up
There
after
was-
the Red Firebird was blown up.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find it out.
That whole entire fucking chase scene, like that thing, like everybody always confused that that first
just
Cannonball
remembered one.
with Gumball Rally. Everybody confuses that. That was it.
Or Cannonball Run.
Yeah,
They confused
no,
the titles. of the movie.
Cannonball.
Yeah,
God
Cannonball. That
damn.
movie was way darker than either.
That
that
guy
mo-
that had the K5 laser and
Yeah.
all that just fucking loaded up on
Uh-huh.
and all that, and you have to hook her like where like
I knew I remembered one.
Him. Where are we going? We're rounding the Rockies. Like I remember that as a kid. Like yo, like everybody's talked about this Cannonball Run. I'm like, no, this movie is fucking horrible.
I'm
Well,
glad
the
I
thing
found
about
it quick.
the Cannonball Run is that movie was put together by Hal Needham
Yeah,
and Brock Yates, and they were the ones that actually did
the Cannonball.
the Cannonball Run. And in the movie where they have the Transcon medevac ambulance,
Yeah.
Yates and them actually tried to do that and failed in that same ambulance. And right now, there's a few of the, I know, Ed Bolian, another one of the guys that shows up on VinWiki a lot, and Travis Bell.
Yeah.
They're putting together, they basically recreated that ambulance, and they're going to try for a
Oh,
Cannonball Run.
that's
They're going to try
cool.
for a Cannonball Run in that ambulance sometime this year.
Oh, I just thought
From
of
the
one
Red
too.
Ball Garage all the way to the Portofino.
I had to look it up. The Amityville Horror,
Yeah.
the Mustang.
Stephen King Sleepwalkers.
Ooh, another good one.
Yeah.
Another good one.
Basic Instinct,
Oh, Basic
the red and
Instinct.
silver fox body out
Yep,
of Basic
yep.
Instinct.
Damn, we're starting to think of more. I think we're starting to think of more movies now than we initially
Hey,
thought.
well,
There's
not-
another one I gotta
well,
find though.
not even with movies. Okay, can we move into the thing of what is your favorite aftermarket tuner other company Mustang?
Other company Mustang too.
So I mean, like you, not your factory one, not like Boss or things like that, but like your Celines, your McLarens, but the ones that took the Mustangs and did other things with them. Because I actually have a couple.
I would have to go with Celine because Steve Celine started out by racing Fox bodies in SCCA competition and developed
I was gonna,
all of those cars
Yeah,
from
Celine,
everything that he did,
into
racing
the
them and
cars.
basically and racecraft. All of the racecraft suspension
Yeah.
was all developed from Steve Celine racing those cars on the track and then turning them into what they became. So,
Yeah.
What about the Dominator 2s?
oh, the JBA Dominator cars. But those are so esoteric though. They're so rare.
So, and you just gave me the look. So you
I
don't know
do,
what.
no,
so
no,
it-
I do. I do.
It was a dealership out in Kansas, Ohio, somewhere right there in the Midwest. For 84 and 85, that was it. They did the Dominator. And it was basically, they were on like watermelons and all that shit. Like they fucking looked
Yeah.
badass, but they fucking built them up in that. And they were a goddamn amazing fucking car. The Twister.
I was just thinking of the Twisters, the Twister twos. I was going to mention
Yeah,
it.
those were also sort of a.
Those were the Kansas City cars. So
Yeah.
you had the 1970 Twisters, I know all that.
I
that
remember
were all
the
basically
red
mo-
Twister
yeah,
2.
that were all basically Mach 1s in the same color and yellow, but then they had the Twister 2s that was also 85 only, and it was about the same. They were in competition with the Combinators, and those are some of those like Mr. Norm fucking GM cars. Like
Yeah.
no one at that time was doing that with a lot of cars, and so
Right.
you had these dealer-specific cars that were fucking badass. Like they really wore. Fucking good. Like you don't get that much now.
No.
Like with
Not at all.
anything. I mean, you get the Roush cars and all that, which I also, after we finish this, want to go back to the most famous Mustang too, or the most infamous Mustang too.
Talk what you want to. I gotta go soon, so talk
Yeah.
what you want to talk
Hit
about.
it.
The most infamous Mustang too. Someday.
Yep.
500. It was built by Gap and Roush.
Yep.
Jack Roush, as in Roush Racing, Roush Fenway Racing. Well, back in the 70s,
It was Gap and Round.
they were drag racers.
Street
And
racers.
well, they were drag racers. They raced professionally, and they built cars like the Tijuana Taxi. They did all kinds of crazy shit like that. But then one guy named Joe Ruggiero decided he wanted the baddest street car, like Saturday night for money street racer, like OG street outlaw shit,
Right.
like OG street outlaw shit. So he bought a '75 Mustang II and took it to Gap and Roush and said, "Build me the baddest street car." 505 cubic inches
Set back 4 inches.
into the firewall
In that little car.
No, it hit a firewall.
I know, but that little car.
in that little car,
Ooh.
and it
So
was
it was
the baddest
it
bitch
was
ever.
gray, gel-coated front and rear bumper. Had the slots. What slots were on it? The wheels.
Those were ETs.
Yeah. He put the ET slots on it. Fucking thing basically ran a 9-second on the street.
That's
I
ridiculous.
think once went to the track, but it got the name Sudden Death from a was it Motor Trend? Right?
No, it was Hot Rod Magazine.
Hot Rod
The OG editor for Hot Rod Magazine, Gray Baskerville, drove the car. 1977. There is a magazine article of, and it shows Gray driving that car, and he's the one that coined the name Sudden Death for it.
Now this car, after 79, 80, disappeared. It traded.
Well, before it disappeared, the guy took it back to Gap and Roush and said, "Make it faster," so they twin turboed it. In
no, this
1970.
was twin turbo in 79.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had turbos, but no intercoolers. No
Right into a
blow-off-
carb. Yeah.
No blow-off valves.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Twin turbos.
So this was all done
For a
with
car.
gate springs and vacuum and pressure lines. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And carburetor.
And then the car disappeared for years. Then our good friends Tom Pate and
Russ Gerhardt.
found it at 96.
Gator Nationals. It was sitting in the parking
95,
lot.
96, right?
It was sitting in spectator parking.
With a for sale sign. Now it was now painted white
With two blue stripes.
With blue stripes. Had a god awful fucking foot on it. They sat around for 4 hours around the car, waiting, because there was no number or anything like that. Just for sale sign. Tom was like, "This is sudden death. This is sudden death. Going under it and all that is sudden death." No one ever showed up. The track was closing. No one ever came to the car. So they left. 10 years later, no more than that. So it was about, I was still in high school when we got it. So 2008.
Yeah, 2008-ish. Tom finds the car for sale somewhere down in South Florida and goes and buys it.
I remember the day that car came home because his wife at the time was Miss Tate, drama
Yeah.
teacher and all that, and you would recognize her. Well, her V6 car that was in my senior photos and all that, but you would also see the 4i SSB in the parking lot. That was Tom's car. So, got along well with them. They literally lived 3 blocks from my house in Missassa. Tom me and Tom both had 86 Coups, so it was just instantly, and me and him just clicked. And,
It was a bromance.
yeah, got that car. I remember that thing getting there. It was like, this is something else. And telling him the story about it, and I just remember being slack-jawed, like, oh wow, this is one like those cars. This is one of those original fucking badass cars. And he just went and took it from what it was to what it was. Literally, so much attention to detail.
If he wasn't able to track down the original part from the car, which probably 80% of the parts that he found for that car were the original parts for the car. He got a date coded part for the car, but
So did
probably
the distributor-
80% of the shit that he found, like the Excel ignition system, which was built for a very short amount of time that the system was built,
was date coded for 75.
but some of those parts were not the type of part, but
But it was literally date coded
The
for
part,
110.
the
but
part.
it was
That's
the part
cool,
from that
though.
car. And
So I have a picture of me with the car once he got it running good, and it still had the twin turbos on it. He lived right outside of Cinnamon Ridge, so across from Projector Elementary, that one part. Have it to where I'm over there, I was detailing his ex-wife's car, and I was helping him rejet the carburetor, which I gotta give it to him. I now know how to rejet a carburetor because he's like, here's the things, I'm showing you how to do it. Okay, let's go. Got it running really, really good. And
Gray Baskerville in 1977 driving sudden death. He's the guy that gave it the name. Because
So-
it was that shit crazy.
that car backed out of the driveway. I'm in the passenger seat of this horrible fucking 70s bucket seat, like race seat. There's roll cage all around me. No belt on my side. And he's just like, I just hold on. Like, I'm trying to hold on to anything I can. Maybe half the throttle when we left, like, once we pulled out and got off. And the front tires literally lifted all around. And I whacked my head on the roll bar.
That explains a lot, by the
And
way.
he's like, are you
That's what
okay? I'm like,
happened.
that was fucking awesome. He's like,
Do it again!
He's like, the tires came off the ground. I'm like, they did. That thing, like, the amount of work that went into that car.
But he ended up
Everything.
taking it to the Silver Spring show, and it was sitting up on the stage, and there was
That was
My
my-
Classic Car. Dennis
With
Gage did a
Dennis
whole
Gage,
feature on the
and
car.
I got to meet Dennis Gage, and that was like my hero. Because I mean, you know Dennis Gage, like,
Yeah.
oh, my car's in the background of there. I'm so excited. I got to meet fucking Dennis Gage. Like, that was really cool. But he did a whole thing with that, and then he ended up putting the car up for sale.
Well, wait a minute. While we were at Silver Springs,
Oh yeah,
So-
dude,
so there was so much history on this car, and then the car sort of disappeared, and there was a gray area where the history was gone.
Right.
And so there was the history up until the point in the early 80s when the car sort of went away. And then there was history of the car where it was in South Florida, and the history of car from where Tom purchased it in South Florida and did all the restoration work until it appeared on the stage in Silver Springs.
And he did documentation on
There
it.
was documentation. There was so much documentation on this car, which was weird because it's such an oddball car. But there was this little area that was missing. So while the car was on stage, guy walks up and he goes, "Huh, that's my old car." Wait, what? He's like, "Oh yeah, the car was in Ocala. For the missing time period, the car was roaming the streets of Ocala." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "I got a whole box of paperwork and all kinds of shit on the car." He's like, "I'll be back in 30 minutes." Goes off, and a half hour later comes back with a whole box.
Like box
A box.
of parts.
Here you
of
go.
Paperwork of everything.
It was
All
the missing.
links.
It was the missing history of
That's
the car.
cool.
Like,
So this
full
car,
on
this
missing-
one-off street race drag race car that was built by an actual drag racing shop, Gap and Roush, car that was featured in 1977 in Hot Rod magazine, where it
That
got the name
dog-
Sudden Death.
The complete history is there.
That dominated street racing.
That ran
and
9-second street passes in
literally had
1976.
another car built that was it was a CUDA that was built as Sudden Death 2 to compete with this motherfucker.
Yeah, some other guy built a CUDA to try to compete with that car.
And that was Sudden Death 2.
But those cars never lined up on the street.
Nope.
That's still
However-
But they never went to the track either.
So yeah, so
it was
this
all street shit.
yeah, this guy didn't build this car for the track. He built it to take it out on Saturday nights and race it and make money with it. That's what his gig was.
It was to be raced on.
So yeah, this
Woodland Avenue.
oddball drag street race OG street race car is as well documented as Le Mans winners that are crossing the auction block at multi-million-dollar prices.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
He ended up taking it to meet them, and I actually just like last month was when it came across, and I posted it again on Facebook and all that. And Richard was there with Russ was there with him and all that, and it did not sell, did not meet sort of. But
The bid went on.
and this was something that I found out that I wasn't able to talk about for a slight bit of time, but now I can. Roush's daughter was there.
Jack Roush's daughter was the one that ended up buying the car and took it back to the Roush Museum.
Didn't tell Jack Roush.
Didn't tell the old man.
He walked into the place and was like,
No way.
"That's
Right?
Death," and it now sits in Roush's personal collection.
That's awesome.
And
The only sad part about that is that car will never again turn a wheel in anger.
No, well,
It will
Right.
never make a pass.
it turned the wheels angry before it was fully done. Once it got done, and this is the reason why Tom
The
sold
fastest that car has ever been is in Russ's trailer heading up 75. going north.
it is because once it got to that point with all the full restoration and good brake parts, it was to the point of at that point you can't enjoy it,
yeah,
and that.
understandable.
And so, yes, it's understandable. It sucks, but it's understandable,
Yeah.
and I think that's why he got rid of it, because
He couldn't properly enjoy it.
Tom's also the one that wants to send it. Tom wants to send it.
That little SSP notch that Mike was talking about.
That was why
Tom sold that car to
I
Russ.
got back into Foxy Lady because of that, because he told me, Mike, if you don't buy this car, I'm buying it. And I'm
So-
like, Tom, I can't believe you did that.
So Tom sold that car to Russ, and I went out with Russ in that car, and Russ was also
But that's not their new engine.
but
Last time I drove it, it still had the original engine with 500,000 miles on it.
but Russ is also fucking send it.
Yeah.
Well,
And I went for a ride in that car with Russ fucking sending it, and now, but Russ ended up, Tom wanted the car back, so Russ sold the car back to Tom. So
Yeah.
And that thing came with. Tom's one of those.
that thing came with basically a half container full of
Of
NOS
NOS
Fox body
parts.
parts.
Damn.
So
The outside of that car looked like hell. The inside
was all and showroom new.
was showroom new, and they were all NOS parts.
So the dash
The dash
Foxy
pad on his
Lady?
car.
in Foxy Lady, even though it's slightly faded, that is not a reproduction. That is a NOS 1986 candy red
That came out of Tom's parts trailer.
That's even awesome.
NOS.
That's cool.
NOS. Like that literally has the 1986 part number on it.
You falling asleep on us there, Chris?
Yeah.
Nope.
I was
I'm
gonna say
here.
I gotta get going.
yeah, so,
I'm sorry.
We don't have a bring a trailer card, but hey.
Yeah, I had some other stuff going on this past
I
couple
do
days.
have
So.
one. So just talk about it. So let's say.
Hey, you made
hey.
it back.
Didn't you? Oh.
Well, we don't know. You might have got pulled over in the process.
That's
So a
entirely true.
1996 Mustang Cobra, just like mine, but it's not a Mystic Chrome. It's a Mystic Cobra. So the thing is that's that special color. But the thing with the Mystic Chrome had more blue in it than that. So 96, you had the Mystic Cobra, which was that purple and green thing.
Flip.
Yeah.
And 04 was you had the Mystic
Mystic
Chrome,
Chrome.
which had more blue in it. You
Yep.
had the purple, blue, and green.
Right.
And that.
The
So
chameleon.
this is a
Yeah.
96 Mystic Cobra. It has 42,000 miles on it. The original Mystic paint has been garaged since day one. have London stickers along with the original build certificate. Interior mods are billet buttons and seated shifter. They have their original for it. Engine mods are a K&N air filter. That's it. Suspensions mods are Ibach lowering springs. Have originals for it. Caster camber plates from Maximum Motorsports, which mine has. Rear control arms with pinhard bars. Has Colorado.
Wait a minute. Why would it have Panhard bars? There is no Panhard bar in the S190 and the S95. But why?
I don't know.
It wouldn't. No, a Panhard rod.
Don't ask me. I'm just reading the fucking description.
No, I'm just curious about this because a Panhard rod absolutely would not work because it would throw everything into a bind.
Has Colorado custom billet wheels with BFG tires. Have original wheels with original tires from '96, along with Bear 2-3 brake rotors with stock calipers. Flowmaster mufflers welded onto factory tailpipes. How much do you think they're asking for this car?
Wait a minute. Is this an ad or an auction?
It's an
35.
I was gonna say 35. 30. I'll go 30.
What about you, Chris? Did you hear everything I said?
28.
28.
Vaguely, it's been breaking up a little bit. 28.
This is the one that I tried to send you that the link wouldn't open up. They have it listed for 23.
Oh, Chris, you got it. 23.8.
I went over. No,
we all
nobody
went
got
over.
it.
Yeah, we
I
all
went
did.
over.
Shit. Well, damn.
That's the sound of eh. That means everyone has gone over in this Price is Right competition.
I have to say, compared to a Mr. Chrome Terminator, that's a damn good price.
Yeah, fair
Also,
enough.
there was less of those made than the Mr. Chromes.
Here's the thing.
And
Brian's having too much fun spinning.
Also,
If
that is a Texan block and Texan head.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If I were selling that car and I wanted the maximum for that car, all those original parts they have for the car would be back on the car.
Agreed.
And by the way, I also have these other
Yep.
parts if you're into that, but here's a completely stock car, save
Yeah.
for the mufflers.
I agree.
But at least they're offering them with it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, if you have them and your goal is to maximize for the sale of the car,
Then you should have put the stock
you
shit
should
back
have
on.
put the stock
Yeah.
shit back on it.
But
And by the way, I have these other parts if you're so inclined.
And on that disappointing note,
No. On that great note,
great
you
note,
know what?
of
My
Mustangs.
96 Silver,
It runs.
runs.
It runs.
runs.
it runs.
We saw it drive.
We
It
did.
does.
It moved
And
under its
sounds
own power.
fucking
It did.
amazing.
Expect
because
more on that, guys.
Oh god, that car's a piece of shit, but I fucking love it.
Hey,
Yeah,
we'll
that
see-
now that it's fixed, that means I get to drive it.
Oh,
yeah.
dude. So the clutch started to stick a tiny bit, but because
That's
of the
fine. He
steady
can work
movement-
around it. He's got one leg.
Hey,
Yeah,
in 373 years, you
Yeah.
can fucking move it like motherfucker.
We'll see you
Chris,
guys.
you need to get back down here with your race sim so I can
Yeah,
go on
hurry.
3 pedals and whip all y'all's asses with one leg. Yeah.
Seriously, hurry up.
Seriously, very soon.
Fair enough. All right, guys.
Hey,
We'll
well,
see you in a
bye,
few
guys.
weeks.
Hey, Sunday, have a great Mustang Day.
Easter.
Do some.
And happy Easter,
Yeah. Well,
if that's your thing.
Happy
I'll
Zombie
be
Jesus
standing on
Day.
the corner in a Jesus costume drinking.
Woo!
How's that different than any other Sunday?
Oh, also it's a full moon, so watch out for werewolf Jesus.
Oh, all right.